It's
It's
a
kind of
situation you don't hear of all that often unless it's maybe in a movie or something, which is a rare thing to say these days. But it happened. Kentucky Sheriff Shawn Mickey Stines has been charged with the murder of his longtime friend, District Judge Kevin Mullins. The two went out for lunch that day, as they often do, talking about different things. It's a small community. The sheriff and the judge are kind of like this. They're tight. And something happened. Something took place that made that sheriff pull his service revolver out and shoot the judge multiple times over in his chamber on camera. What exactly took place? What caused this massive deviation in behavior? That's the question we're asking. Joining me to discuss, Robin Dreeke, retired FBI special agent, chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program. We talk about behavior arcs all the time on this program, and this does not seem to be a common thing for Kentucky Sheriff Shawn Mickey to just go and randomly shoot at people. What's your take on this situation and where we're at?
I hit the whole thing right there. When you have a massive deviation from an observed behavior, there's information that was learned that caused that massive change of behavior. But I will throw in there that that's an interesting problem solving solution the sheriff came up with, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, so here I am. I've learned things about life and people in my life. Now, granted, the extent of which he probably learned about, again, there's conjecture going around involving his daughter and everything else, that would trigger someone. I haven't had an incident in my life where I've learned a bit of information that would trigger a response of violence to death. Um, not saying not saying anything. It's just I found his solution for solving that problem and dealing with it. Really, that was how I was curious about how much of a deviation was that for him?
Yeah.
Because had he thought about that before? Has he dealt with that before? I mean, has he ever pulled a firearm on someone before? I mean, that was a massive deviation. So I think as this unfolds, there's going to be other data points that
Yeah.
say uh, there's some trouble afoot.
Yeah.
I doubt if this was the first time that there's been some challenging things in the sheriff's life that he had a struggle with making coming to a rational decision about how to solve that problem.
It would take a lot. I mean, and not there. There's things I think almost all of us, I think at some point, if you were met with that sort of information, you may be tempted to do the same thing. I guess it comes down to self control if one were to actually go to the lengths
Yeah.
that he did. But there's only certain pieces of information that I think would make most of us rational, healthy individuals go that far, and would probably involve our kids.
Mhm.
And what we do know, and it's all we do know, is that he likely found his daughter's phone number on the judge's phone, tried calling his daughter from the judge's phone, as well as his own right before this all went down. Now, that's where the speculation runs wild. Where are we going with this? Why was the number on the judge's phone? Was there a reason? Is there a logical reason why it might be? Now, was he a coach of something? Was there I don't know. I mean, there could be logical reasons for this that are not nefarious. But most of them seem kind of nefarious. If you have an adult with a child's phone of the opposite sex phone number on your phone, um, I'm assuming there was more than just the phone number that was on that phone that caused that sort of. At least I hope to, not hoping in a way like I hope nothing was going on, but to just find the phone number and pull out a weapon and shoot him, I think would be a bit extreme. That's why I'm guessing there's probably a bit more to the story.
He still made a choice to take a life,
Yeah,
and so to me, it'll just be interesting how much time he gets in jail.
yeah,
He did it. I mean, there's no
yeah.
denying it, and the motivations behind it. I,
Heat of
that's
passion.
he.
Heat of passion is what
Yeah,
the defense is arguing.
yeah, and I get that, but still, he still made a choice,
He did.
to take a life. The the recent books I've noted with you before, on the other shows, Gavin DeBecker's, Gift of Fear, as well as Obsession by John Douglas.
Mhm.
Both of them iterate. you and no matter any of these cases that deal with someone committing murder, people can justify it as much as they want, but they still made a choice to
Mhm.
take a human being's life.
Yeah.
Outside the criminal justice system, outside of everything, they made a choice to take a life.
Yeah.
And this there's no debating this one. He took a life
Yeah.
and you know, it's not that he's denying it.
Yeah.
So it's
And
going to
while
come down to how it can defend it.
yeah, exactly. And in our criminal justice system, in our society, is that acceptable? No, it's not.
Right.
In terms of a human being trying to basically protect your child from, I don't know, was he a predator? We don't know the answer to that.
Right.
If he was, then it makes a little more sense as to why someone may react that way. Not saying it's good, not saying you should
Mhm.
do that, but I think it's almost a natural human instinct to try and protect your child if you realize something like that could be going on. Again, just conjecture. Nothing has been charged in the way of that right now, but there's so
Well,
many
and you hit it
questions.
right there. I think no matter what spurred it, he acted on instinct. That
Yeah,
it's it from what we see, from what we're saying, especially since they're going to claim crime of passion, for defense. Yeah, that and what is crime of passion? It's an instinctual
mhm,
reaction he had. Uh, I'm sorry that he happened to be holding a firearm when he had the instinct because
yeah,
it's going to cost him a lot more as well as the judge.
yeah,
For because again we don't know anything, but now someone else is deprived of another life.
yeah,
Because now remember this, as I think it's important to remember in all these cases, the victim is gone,
mhm,
but the other victims are the people's in that judge's life. There might have been
yeah.
people that loved and cared for him very deeply that are now deprived of him because of the sheriff's choice of instinct, to take a life.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, and that's something that should be thought about on the sheriff's part. Clearly, he did not. Of you do this, you're taking yourself out of your daughter's life as well. And,
Yep.
and if that's ultimately your goal is to be there, there's other ways of dealing with this where you can remain in your daughter's life because she probably needs you and not behind bars. But unfortunately, that's where he's going to go because of that reaction. It's going to be
Yeah.
fascinating, though, to see where this all goes. And that's ultimately where it
Sad.
goes to sentencing and what's appropriate when you find out news of whatever nature that was.
Yeah. It's just I hate these cases just because there's nothing but sadness and tragedy all around it.
Yeah,
And because again, the people I'm thinking of right now are the sheriff's daughter, and the family around the judge.
sure. Yeah. Lots of questions and not a lot of answers, and probably a lot of reconciling who that individual was, if there is something there, and they
And
know anything about
here's
it.
my conjecture: we're probably going to hear some creepy things.
Yeah. And that's a lot to take, especially if you're the family and you're not there, then they don't have the opportunity to reconcile that with the person that, allegedly is doing the abuse, if that's part of it. They're just kind of left to wonder. They only saw this one side, but maybe there was this whole other side they didn't know. It's going to leave a lot of unanswered questions
Yeah,
at the end of the day. A lot more people suffering than need to be.
that's what it is. This is a case of suffering.
Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.